All right. Hello, hello, hello. No, it's not late to my own party. My daughter was just waking up. And she's like, "Daddy, daddy, daddy," and whenever she calls, Daddy has to come running. You know how it is, little girls. My wife's like, "You definitely love this one more than the other two." I was like, "Don't tell them that though." Thank you, Nero. All right, so, all right. Here's a question for you guys. So, did you guys hear? Did you guys have like a really bad echo? I was actually on Twitch last night, and I forgot to mute the sound. Typically, when it plays the system sound, it also plays it on here, but I don't know if it did or not. And there's like an echo. Didn't sound like it, but that doesn't mean it didn't. Huh. Maybe it is fixed then. Huh. Yeah, normally when there was sound on, it would basically hear the sound playing as system sound, and then it would also add it in there. But maybe they have that fixed. Huh. That's cool. That's fine. I'd rather it be that way anyway. All right. Let's go back to here. All right, let's roll through what we got today because we have crude oil coming in, and the API number was pretty good. So last 24 hours, I mean, basically dollar weakness across the board. I mean, pound has been going crazy. Pound has gotten all its mojo back again. Euro pound down 32, pound yen up 189, and again, it was hammered to the downside, and now it's basically the other direction. Seeing yen is just basically taking it on the chops. You're seeing euro yen up, just slightly, right? Pound yen up, um, you know, but then dollar is getting blasted on the CAD too. So, um, dollar weakness across the board. I would say it's more pronounced than CAD, which we mentioned earlier in the week. But besides that, mm, it looks like yen is the weakest overall. So we go yen and then probably dollar second. Um, and then Swiss or Euro are probably pretty close. But I would say right now, pound is probably the strongest right now that we need to worry about. So, and again, all it's doing is retracing from earlier in the week. So now she's crying. As far as top news goes, there's really not a ton out there this morning. There's an interesting article here about inflation and then talking about how the Delta variant is making it worse. I don't know. I think I'm back in like I think I have like Delta fatigue. I'm so tired of hearing about the Delta variant. Um, I know two people, I guess, personally. I went to high school. It's her and her son. Both were vaccinated and got it. I'm kind of torn on it. I don't know. I know, there are people that have gotten vaccines and gotten it, and people that haven't gotten COVID. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't know. Obviously, people get it. But I just feel like at the stage we're at right now, like we've seen what had happened when we shut everything down. I don't feel like we're not going to shut everything down again. We're not going to go to lockdowns. We're not skipping school. We're not going full remote. I just feel like those things are now in the past. Like if we get to the stage again where we need to lock down, um, I think like the world's just going to end, right? So, it keeps getting brought up like, yes, COVID will never go to zero. It's just like the flu, it's going to continue to mutate. There's going to have to be boosters, obviously, that work with kind of new strains. But, you know, it is what it is. Life has to, we're moving on, right? And things like this, we're like, oh no, Delta's, making it worse, and we're worried about this. It's like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but like, I don't know. It's it just makes you wonder. Like, do the precautions work? Do the precautions not work? Like, okay, you can't have spectators, but like, what if all the spectators wore masks and spaced by 6 feet apart? Was that stuff true? Is it not true? What's the reality of the situation? You know, with kids, obviously I was in, partially in the school system. Um, Now they're saying that there was some pediatrician that's recommending they all go back with masks, and a lot of other pediatricians like, no, it's not needed. Um, and being in that environment, seeing the kids, outdoors, it's like, hey, you're good out. So, they're allowed to eat next to each other, and that's okay, even though they're chewing and they're like talking when they're eating and stuff like that, right? That's okay, right? But they can't spend the rest of the day with it's like, I mean, come on, kids are dirty. They put all kinds of stuff in their mouth. They use their hands for everything, but yet they can eat, and there's no special, crazy precautions. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of inconsistencies out there with it. So I think, all the fear, and Todd was like, no, 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 Delta variant's real. And we watched the market go down yesterday. He's like, no, it's going to be like this all week. I was like, no, it's going to retrace. Like this is inflation more than anything else. New Zealand's taking those first steps. We'll find out tomorrow morning early at 7:45, right? Um, we'll find out tomorrow what the European stance is on it. They've been extremely, on the other side. I expect them to have probably, if it wasn't for the old, the flooding and everything in Germany, I would assume that they may have. I would say there's probably a 50-50 chance that they would have some type of stronger content. Problem is now with Germany having some issues, I don't think they're going to take as strong of a stance as they would have before. I feel like it will be on the weaker side. The question is, how much has the market prepared for it? If that makes sense. Um, I think that's really, really kind of where we stand right now. I think there will be opportunity in the euro pound, obviously, and the question is if we can somehow get a reversal in the yen today. I think the euro yen could be an interesting short tomorrow as well. There will be breakthrough cases, but with minimal disease. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Debbie, that's what I'm seeing too. I mean, people are getting it like, yeah, it's just very extremely mild symptoms, and I love the fact that if you do get it, like, I don't know, like it lowers the symptoms before, but I still don't feel like we have actual true numbers of how many people had it that were asymptomatic that didn't know they had it the first time, right? And those are numbers that are like, yeah, we'll probably never figure that out, right? So it's like, how many people, I mean, and same thing. If you, before we were all vaccinated, you could be asymptomatic. And I know people that were actually asymptomatic. They had it because their spouse had it. They figured it out because their spouse had it and they got tested like, oh, I'm positive, but I feel absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Like we found those people out. How many people have the vaccine and are having breakthrough cases as well? Like it's another one of those things that we'll just never find out. We just don't know, you know? And I'm still concerned, and originally too, remember they were all safe, and then it was like, oh no, no, now we have blood clotting problems, and now we have this other thing with cardiac, stress. We're finding out a lot more, and more, and more, and it's only been out a year, right? I mean, yes, millions of people have gotten it, but you know, what are the long term? No, we don't have any idea what the long term risks are, and because it was considered experimental, we can't even. There's no. I mean, like we could find out in 5 years that it increases our cancer rate by 50%, right? We could, all the people that got it could half those people could die of cancer, and there's no repercussions that we can do because of the way that it was disseminated to us. I think that is kind of an issue, right? I mean, there has to be accountability somewhere back to it. So, it's risk versus benefit for every single person out there. But I also feel like we don't really have, nor is there kind of the effort being put forward to get really kind of the truth and the, when people are being forced to take it at their jobs, it's kind of like, you know, it's like, do we have all the information to make an informed decision? And then, it's kind of like, you know, if safety does become an issue when we were all forced to do it, how can there be no repercussions? Is kind of where it goes back to. So, you know, I just feel that the economy is rolling forward. I feel like businesses are taking advantage of the situation at this point. Um, like always, the rich are getting richer, and the less fortunate are getting more less fortunate. Is the way that it's going. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, the inflation thing is bad. And actually, Marina, I have another friend of mine too that mentioned that their gas is closer to $5 now. I was like, he's like 4.75 would be nice. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, yeah. So and he's like, yeah, we're expected to go even higher. I was like, what? I was like, why don't you just move? He's like, because my job's out here and it requires me to be here. I can't work remotely. I was like, you need to get a new job. You definitely need to get a new job. Go somewhere else. I'm like, go to the middle of the country, man. Get internet. I'm like, you see the cost of living, right? Like they say, like the minimum salary to be able to like survive or whatever in California, I think is $120,000 a year. That's the minimum salary. But then you go and then you have like places like Kansas where it's $48,000 a year. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, you don't have as much. I was like, but if you only have to, I'm like, you need to make 1/3 the amount, and you could live in a mansion. You don't have to have, you don't have to reach into your neighbor's fridge to get mustard. You know, so it's funny. All right, so obviously today crude oil at 10:30. That's the one big thing. The API news was actually positive. positive meaning that there was a surplus, there was not a downdraw. So that's kind of an interesting, we haven't seen this recently at all. Kind of one of those things to think about. It's like, huh. But are they, is it manipulation? I mean, again, this is this is the API number. So these are the industry people saying, "Hey, you should trust us. This is what it is." So I don't think it's coming in at 800,000 positive, but I think if it could definitely be much better than what we had last time. Coming in at that 7.9. So yeah. So oil is setting up for a very interesting trade today. And like I said, early tomorrow morning, we have 1 pound speaker. We have all the monetary policy, the ECB press conference, and the unemployment claims, which again, they're pegging themselves at that 350 every week. We'll see how it comes in. Remember, last week was disappointing. It was slightly higher. Actually, it's been disappointing the last 2 weeks. Um, so yeah, and then obviously in July it wasn't as bad. So we're definitely trending in a lower direction, right? The 364 threw them off a little bit there, but there was a revision back up to the 371. Still not as bad as what the forecast was, but we are trending in the right direction there. So that is definitely I don't know, maybe we get a good number on this and it helps kind of save the end of the week here, going in late. All right, so let's jump across. Just FYI, I posted it on the forums. And we talked about that bull call spread there. Not doing too bad, right? Coming in from that 620 range. I mean, even if you just did regular calls, look at that. It's been what, since Monday, right? Was that Monday? Yeah, since Monday, we're already up $40, right? $40, not a bad mover, right? From that level. So again, works in everything when you understand how our supply and demand works. But let's go across and start looking at the Aussie. This pandemic won't be resolved until there's a united front. Yeah, Ernest, and you know the truth, man. There's never going to be a united front. Right? We got billionaires going to space. We have millions of vaccines dumped on countries that don't have food or clean drinking water. So it's kind of like, what is the overall agenda, right? Now, I had this conversation with Melissa yesterday. She was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I don't know. I'm just going to tour, and like these guys are spending billions of dollars to go to space." It's like, yeah, but it's the first ones to space. I'm like, I was like, this is something that they're looking for exploration. I was like, and in reality, I mean, it's their money. If they want to spend their money that way, I mean, it's not like the taxpayer paid for Bezos to go to, I mean, he made money on us obviously with Amazon, right? But it's his money. I mean, if he wants, I mean, it's not like the dude doesn't give money to charity as well, right? But if he wants to spend it, let him do it. I was like, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, how many different space missions and things like that? I mean, we are going in that direction. I mean, if rich people want to spend their money on space travel, then sure, let them do it. It's no different than if they buy. I'm like, you don't have a problem that they buy a big boat. What's the difference if they buy a big boat versus 7 minutes in space? Oh, Ernest, the division has absolutely gotten worse. Absolutely. Yep. 100%. If I could go above 100 and have it still be legitimate, absolutely. It's gotten worse and worse and worse. And the funny thing is, um, again, this is slightly politics, but if you look at kind of what the whole thing was, right? Bernie was the socialist, and supposedly the Democrats were going to, get rid of the rich and give everybody else is going to be. But the situation since the Democrats have taken over has gotten worse for the poor, right? We've seen inflation go absolutely crazy. They had the ability to control it, but they were worried about the stock market. And you have Nancy over here buying, her husband buying millions of dollars, $1 million worth of profit in options in things that she knew ahead of time. So I mean, talk about insider trading. Imagine if Trump's wife had done that, right? If she had bought all those things and then Trump put a policy in, there would have been riots, right? Absolutely riots, without a doubt. We're spending more money trying to research the January, the January storming of the Capitol that, the police force already said, we just moved and let him in. We didn't really try to protect it. It's like, we don't get paid for that, right? We're spending more time on that than just try to figure out how to kind of equal the playing field, you know? It's just the social injustice out there is unbelievable. And, the party that's in is like, no, we're here to fix all this. Yeah, right. You guys are the ones that jack the prison system and everything. It's like, come on, you know? And now it's just it's just insane. They're not making it any better. So, Senator, we're not happy. Yeah, but I don't think AOC or Warren are ever happy. Like I feel like Senator Warren, like first off, she's crazy, right? I think she's nuts. I don't think she's using the full deck there. Some of the comments she's made have been just insane. AOC, I don't believe should have been. I get it why she got put in because people are unhappy. And I get it that she's kind of a freedom fighter. I think she'll be good in like I don't know 10 like maybe 10 15 years when she's more experienced. I just don't feel that at her stage in life right now she's had enough life experiences to really be able to craft where the nation goes. And again, you could say that, well, millennials. Yeah, I get it, millennials, but you got to realize, all the money is still based with the baby boomers, not with. I mean, AOC is like, yeah, I got to stay on my parents' couch before I move into my new apartment in DC. Because like, I haven't gotten a paycheck yet. It's like, wow, and that person's crafting. So it's kind of like years ago. I say years ago, but we're talking like 10 years ago or whatever. Um, After my first wife and I got divorced, I dated a younger girl, and she went to Yale, and it was funny. We'd go through. I'd go up there and visit her and stuff, and you'd see like the amount of stress that those kids had. Right, I'd go through, and they were just. I mean, they had to drop out of school for 6 months or a year because the stress was too high, and a lot of it was self-induced. But I was like, wow, you guys are. This is insane. You guys are this stressed out. I was like, but your life hasn't even started yet. I'm like, you don't have a job, you don't have a mortgage, you're not paying health insurance, you don't have kids, you're not paying, alimony or child support. I was like, you don't have quotas and deadlines and all. I'm like, you guys have no idea what life is actually about yet. Like, it hasn't even gotten hard yet, and you guys can't even tackle this stage of it yet. So, you know, it's one of those things that, like, you got. I mean, like I said, I was never in the military, but it's kind of for lack of a better analogy. Like, you got to get in the trenches before you can make decisions about what's going to happen about somebody else's life. Is my opinion, right? Whether it's right or wrong, and I upset anybody, I apologize. My goal is not to insult anybody, but I feel like before you can make decisions that affect other people, you have to understand what it's like to be in those situations. It's the same reason why I don't believe in unlimited term senators, because I absolutely, without a doubt, do not believe somebody that's been in Congress for 54 years has any touch with what reality actually is about for the average American. You know, absolutely not. I mean, you're 54 years old. You've only, like Bernie. All right, Bernie's funny. He's entertaining. His only career has been politics, right? So, I mean, how does he know what it's like to have a quota or a crappy boss or any of those other things, or mortgages and real health insurance? I mean, he has no idea, and yet they're the ones that are crafting it. So, just that's my soapbox for the morning. My wife is probably texting me saying, "Shut up." All right, so Aussie dollar. So Aussie news, we were looking for this one to rally up. We ended up getting a big drop down. It didn't get all the way down. It was really bad. Obviously, the minus 1.8 was not expected. We were hoping it was going to drive down, and all it did is it drove up ahead of time. So I would say that the Aussie dollar was really not the way to play it last night. The Aussie yen was a much better one because we were seeing so much yen strength yesterday. Um, right now, I would say we're kind of excuse me, we're more middle of the road. There's a few areas in here, but I don't really love much in this chart. I liked it to go long. But I wouldn't say there's a really strong area here where, like, yeah, that's a nice one. Even up on the hourly, trying to smooth it out a little bit, you can see there's a whip here, a whip here. I mean, I guess the first real kind of level here would be in this range. Again, it's not tested yet, but that's the only one, and it's still a little bit of a ways away. You're talking about 45 pips. So, I mean, reality is, how much more can we move today? Can we get enough dollar strength in there? Answer is I don't know. I was hoping we'd really get a little bit more, and I was hoping we get that Aussie strength. And we're getting it today, just late. We're reversing. It's basically the dollar control on this one. But I think really until we get some solid, some concrete U.S. numbers, I think this is going to be more range bound, bouncing back and forth again. So, there's probably a little one in here. You could take something off of that basing area, but it wasn't really either of these two wasn't really the best exit, right? 73, 78, it's decent, but there's no test. This one at least has a little bit of a test at 74.05. Um, do I like either of them? Mm, they're okay, but I wouldn't, not super, super excited about them. But yeah, so, expect this one to go up. I would expect it to go high, but it wouldn't be a position where I'd be willing to take long. Now, also, again, there's the news. I dropped this one. Here, I'll drop it back down to 5 minutes so you guys can see it. Mentioned this last night that, again, with this rallying up and with this stabilizing right before news, it was an easy way to take this one short. It drove down very quickly and then popped right before the news. Um, and then again, held itself on the 5 minute and then collapsed. So even if you had done a breakout on this one, I mean, this is 44 pips. It moved 10 strike prices to the downside. Nice little easy trade. And then it did its little, again, little reversal based off the buyers here. I'm not surprised. What we can do with this one now? So Now, as you can see, it has pulled up. I'll take the black lines off. We'll take the news off now. We don't need that one anymore. But you can see we're approaching that 80.92 level, as well as the U.S. Open. So again, it's probably a decent level. The question is, is this going to be enough? Or are we going to have this reverse back through the top? Again, this requires a lot of yen strength to come through with it, but it's decent. It's pushed up higher again. You know, eh, Question is, do we have enough to run to the downside? And it's about 45, right? It's okay. I would say this would probably be like a B rated B, probably like a solid B, right? We need to go to here, right there. So the profit target is it, it's cutting it close. There is enough room, but it is cutting it close in there. Um, and again, we need some more yen strength for this one to come in. The worry is it halted it with the U.S. Open, but it hasn't really kind of forced it back down again. Um, so again, the time constraint is the one thing I'd watch this one closely if you're going to take this one short. Okay, and remember we are in the green zone, so we are really looking more for shorts than anything else. Okay, but 90, 99 or 89, what is it? 80, 91 is where that entry would have kicked in. Profit target is right before the basing. And again, there may be a continued drop here. Um, this is kind of a two-touch bottom. It's only about 30. If we can get a decent roll, there could be another. You could do like an add-on at 80.50 to the downside. Okay. Looking for. Sorry, I'm shaking a drink right now. Mixing it up. All right, euro pound. So euro pound is in a level we talked about. We mentioned yesterday that we had, and again, this one ended up hitting right at 9 o'clock. We had a higher time frame zone, and we had a little bit of reversal right at that 9 o'clock window, and then kind of a push and a stabilization. We had all that. This was really a combination of euro strength and then also pound weakness across the board. And remember, yesterday the pound got slaughtered, right? And then all of a sudden it was like, bam, we're good. Um, Obviously, we mentioned it yesterday, getting short 81, I'm sorry, 86.16, pushing back down to the origin of the move down here at 85.86. I think it's decent. Again, it's a racetrack area. There's a little bit of buyers right below. So again, that may be what's given us that hiccup. I was kind of waiting for a little stabilization below. Um, but I think that's probably a decent short to the downside. If we can continue. There's only 2 hours left. I'm sure whatever kind of trend we get into is probably going to continue forward. Um, yeah, yeah, we'll see if it can roll. Not much really else we can say about this one. Like I said, it's a green level zone. We just bounce off a higher time frame zone, and that's it is what it is. Okay. Whoops. Oh, how did I do that? That was weird. Huh. I don't even know what that is. See, every time I touch this, there's like a new are useful for noting points of significance on your watch list. Oh, okay. I don't need this. I don't need that. It's like, what is that? Um, all right. So I mentioned this during Todd's session that we had a little bit of a balance and then it came back up and we were kind of stabilizing. But with it being a session open, it was going to be probably a little bit harder of a trade because it was going to continue the trend, particularly because we pulled back and then pulled back again and found those same buyers. I would keep this on there and look for basically look for this to come back down and come from this level here. Change this to yellow, right? And basically look for a bounce, right? Look for it to push up to the 103.18. And again, this kind of goes into that same thing that we were looking for the yen. We are looking for it to kind of start to roll right here. And again, we're looking for a bit of a roll. And there's a zone here. You can see where it pulled back up into this basing level with this kind of sawtooth right here. You have this kind of sawtooth effect. But the clean one's going to be the extreme over at 103.18. So, I would expect it to roll. This one can kind of probably pull back down to the 129.60 level. But again, the way that this one had pushed down, from 4 o'clock down, came back up at 6:30, and then again at 8 o'clock found them same buyers and started to push forward. It was kind of one of those telltale signs that it was building buyers to really make an attempt to punch through, and it did. It punched through. So, we can use this one later as a violated level. Or right now, wait for 103.18 to go high. And again, that would be a decent push higher. Now, euro dollar. Euro, again, nice spike here. Again, this is kind of some massive dollar weakness. And again, this is the US Open base candle. We had the base and we had a nice little push down from it already in the overnight session. This spike up would have been the European Open and then kind of a retracement back down again. Not something we would really be interested in taking a second time. And actually, let's bring this one out and readjust some of the things here. Um, yeah, we can still use that. Yeah, we're gonna use that. Let's move this, unlock. We're gonna put it there. All right. Let's drop down to an hourly. Space this out. All right. I'm gonna take this area of interest off. We've based here, touched it, based, but I'm gonna remove it now to kind of clean it going forward. My profit target is out. We can take this off. We can hold those. Oops. Make it a little bit bigger. Pull those across. I'm gonna remove that right now too. All right. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I mean, see this how this all spikes. There's just not a whole lot clean there, and this is three. You guys can see that we have one, whoops, two, and three. Okay. I'd watch 118.19, although it is going to be the fourth hit, so be cautious. And again, right now it's just literally whipping back and forth. In 24 hours, we've moved about 18 pips, so still way down. I don't know. Todd was like, I really like this one. I was like, I don't know. I was like, he's like, it's channeling. I was like, kind of is channeling. I was like, but it's really just whipping back and forth. Um, actually, here's let me. I'll just put regular. I'm curious to see. Yeah, look, extreme, 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 middle, extreme, extreme. So it's funny how this one is literally going back and forth, right? Finding both sides every time it touches. Now again, here it didn't. It bounced off the middle. Um, Bollinger Band is a pretty funny indicator. All right, so yeah, I would expect this one to kind of stabilize itself. If it's unable to put another high in here, look for it to roll back down to 117.39. Take the long from there. Pound yen, not surprised that it broke. And again, drop it down to a 30-minute. Talked about this in Todd's session that we had the pullback. We came through, and then again, we're looking to get long. 151.06 is where we're looking to get short. A decent level, and you could adjust this one a bit. There's your high. Again, I'm kind of taking the whole basing level right there. If you wanted to shrink this one, you could kind of, you could make it a bit smaller. Right now, it's about 18 pips worth of risk, so we could, I guess, bring it up just a little bit. There is a knockout at 151.53, although it's a bit far away. That's an additional 40 pips, so not really the ideal situation there. But this one comes in. Let's set a short position from there. I like how much it's pushed, right? And there's your four. There's your 3 to 1 right there. So you can see in the grand scheme of things, that's only about that halfway. It's half the push back to the downside. All right. So 51.13 dollar US. So we're looking for this one to rally up and then push down again. And you can see it kind of it pushed, but it's still kind of in that same level. And again, if you take this here, you have one touches, two touches. I mean, basically you could say three, and four is finally what going through. So it's no longer an area that we could short from. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. It's basically the same. It's this one, this corner. Basically the same trade setup, right? As the pound yen. So they're both kind of in the similar area, approaching a zone up top, looking for reversals. And again, all this pound strength has come in from in the overnight. So both of those are still decent. Not much else to say about that. Let's put this one down here. This is going to be our area for another a potential long at 135.83. Dollar CAD. So there was a dollar CAD short that we talked about yesterday morning. We were sitting right here, or actually yesterday afternoon we were sitting right here, and we mentioned look for a break and a pullback. You got to break and a pullback if you wanted to continue to cross. We could put there is number two. All right, number two into the same position. Right. So two different entries in there. Actually, this should have been a little bit lower. This should be the bottom of the wick. Anyway, there was your break on both those. Both of them hit and both of them were in right there. Actually, I guess it's there. So two different entries. Overall profit targets were supposed to be at 126.45. You can see we've now blown through, but there's your 1 to 3. There's your 1 to 3. The overall run on this one, even back to the original target, was supposed to be a 1 to a. Oh, I can't see it because of the thing. 1 to 5, right? And now we're beyond. So you captured a 1 to 3, a 1 to 5. Technically, right now you're at a 1 to 6.3 with the opposing zone all the way down. So, not a bad, not a bad position. There was another small entry where you had this violated zone and it pulled back to it. Had you been looking to take that level right there, you can see that we also pulled back in another short, right? Again, it was a violated zone, right? Came back, grabbed it, and continued. Little Harry Potter to the downside. So two different shorts that you could have taken this morning in the dollar CAD. Because we're pushing down, I would say the next true level, I guess, would be down here. It's kind of another one of these right there. It's the same trade over here, right? It's a break of 126.03. First, really great area that I like to go long. And again, I don't know if we'll be able to eat this much up. We'll see. Maybe by the end of the week. But I think 125.13 is the next one. So again, a lot of shorts in this one. Again, we're beyond this one right now. European session. Like I said, we will probably take some type of a hiccup here just from the profit taking from the short. But this one is you know, down 118 in 24 hours. This is a nice one. See, the problem is with this is what screws up Nadex contracts. Right? If you guys looked at Nadex, look at the spread differential on the dollar CAD. It is not the best. The reason it is not the best is because of days like today. Like, oh my God, it blew it out of the wall. There's so much volatility in this one, and there's really not any more than anything else. But it's kind of like what are you going to do, right? That's straight. Oops, not straight on that. It's really not that volatile, but you get one spiky day and it just Nadex gets scared and messes this one up. But yeah, if you're short, you're good. Again, look to take your profit at what 126.16. I think you should be all right there. Dollar Swiss. Oh, good old dollar Swiss. We're looking for 92.42 and it didn't get there. It made it within 10 pips of it before turning and rolling back to the downside. Again, we still do have this position down here, and again, I can move it across, right? Still waiting for that one to come through. As I said, I would expect some type of a bounce off here at the 91.78 range, but a break of 91.65. We have a racetrack position here. We'd be looking for some type of a push from here down, right? Is what we're looking for. Again, the 1 to 3 target is there. Oops, hold on. It's a 1 to 6. There we go. 1 to 3. So again, this one has room to run to the downside. It is set up for a 1 to 4.94, right? Actually, I guess right there, 1 to 5. So it is a 1 to 5 to the downside. But I think take this one right there, and you should be good to go. Wanted that. Actually, let's adjust this just a little bit. There. 3. There we go. 91.63. We're just adjusting this on just a tad. There we go. All right. Looks much, much better. All right. Like I said, that'll be profit taking. That'll be there. Just trying to get this adjusted right. There we go. Trying to make it a pretty picture. All right. There we go. All right. Dollar yen. So, dollar yen, we talked about this one going long if we broke through the 110.10 feature. You can see there was the 1 to 3. We ended up pulling back. It did come out the bottom, so with spot currency, you probably would have taken a loss in this one. You could have adjusted it again, and once we had this kind of top in here, this failure to go lower, you could have adjusted it again and said, okay, well, wait a second. There's the new base. I'm going to go long from this area if it doesn't go through, or taking it off the top of this one. Either one would have worked. And you can see it punched higher. So again, this is one of those ones that we were looking for. Really the break. And I guess we have to put it there, right? So, it's in. Right now, again, I think we do have there's a decent base up here on the 30-minute. This could definitely be an area where it rolls over. And like I said, we saw on the euro yen, the Aussie yen, the euro yen. We have an area where there's shorts sitting right above where we are, right? So Aussie yen is here. Euro yen is also approaching a level. Pound yen is also approaching a level. Dollar yen is no different. It's approaching a level just a little bit above. So, they all got a little bit more room to run before those sellers stepped in. And in every single pair at that same level, there were some buyers. So, again, when you have it on 4 different areas, that's typically a pretty pretty good sign that we're going to have a reversal at some point. So it's set up. Again, hopefully you guys are able to grab this 110.10 long. And don't forget, we still have this 109.78 when price is able to come back down here. We'll continue to, we'll continue to monitor that one when it does roll and come back down for this trade later on down the road. Okay, but right now I think the 110.46 is the next level. It based there for a while, and then really the U.S. session came in and just got hammered to the downside. So we got a couple targets up top still that we're looking for. Let's pull these off. I don't need these. There we go. All right. And look at that. That knockout has been. That knockout is. You know what? I bet you the top of that one is gone at this point. Let me see. I'm curious now. Knockouts. It was a 109. No, no, no. It's 111.53. So that one goes. Let's see. Oh, I can't even get it that high. 111. Yeah, that's huge. 111.53. So 111.53. Let's get a color that's not. There we go. So it's about halfway through. But man, talk about from that bottom getting in there. I mean, that's a 135 pip runner in the dollar yen. So yeah, quite an interesting play there. All right, so that's with dollar yen. So let's jump across. Let's look at the indices real quick. Actually, first let's look at the dollar. Yeah, dollar index is kind of bouncing through, and again, kind of broke through that bottom side. It was in a level, a violated level, but not necessarily surprised by that. So ES, let's drop it down to a 15. Let's see what we got here. Looks like we pulled back, although 8 o'clock, 9:30. So really wasn't in a great zone for the entry or for the open today. We mentioned that we had a minor level at 43.41. That's kind of what we're kind of banking off of right now, and it is 10:13. There could be a small rollover here in the S&P. Problem is with no news, it's kind of we're relying upon let's see um, the Northern Protocol, Brexit, Crib Sheet. No, there's nothing new. So yeah, so it's probably a small position. I actually think today won't be a bad day. Um, there's your 1 of 3 off that. It's funny. It's not triggering it, even though it came right to that spot. So there would be your ES. Looking for a small rollover. NQ, kind of the same scenario. I mean, here's your 930, right? Was it pulling back into a zone? Not really. I mean, it was close, right? At 7:45, it was good, and then by 8 o'clock, it was already moving. And again, we have that same type of reversal. And there's obviously sellers sitting in here, so it's kind of in the same scenario where it's pulling up. We're seeing a red candle where sellers have been previously, but I think 14,778 is a better level. Could you draw something off of here? You could, right? But I don't think it's necessarily the ideal kind of place where we'd be wanting to go short from it. Let me see on 5 minute if there's anything. Yeah, I guess I could shrink it a little bit into there to there, right? So it's decent, but we got about 15 minutes, and with no news, yeah, we'll see. YM. YM is got a little bit more room to run. And like I said, there's a couple small things in here, but nothing spectacular. And even this one is not really the greatest. It's a previously violated zone that we came back and touched on the downside. So it's something we got to mark. And again, it should be more of a profit target than anything else. This one blew through. I don't need that. I'm actually going to remove. I'll just take this and bring this forward here. I'm keeping this on here because again, we had 1 touches, 2 touches, 3 touches. Looking for a short position here. Again, your 1 of 3 is sitting right there. Okay. Okay. Two. And again, this is a big racetrack. Full. It's a 1 to 7, 1 to 7.3. So that is not a bad one at all. trying to figure out if I can I change it? There we go. Trying to find like an easier one, but oh, can I change the line? No, can't do it. All right, so we'll just leave it there as far as profit targets go. All right. God, I want this. I would love for this to hit 35,000 by the end of the week. I just don't know if we're going to do it at this point. But yeah, 34.78, 34,786 is our next kind of rollover point for there as well. All right. Tesla's running into issues. What's Apple doing? Apple broke that gap. I'm surprised they jump over that gap that easy. And then they turn right above it. All right, let's go to all right, there we go. So we were able to get up there. So let's start the orange box right now. Let's see. Orange box would go to right there. Change that to orange. Let's change it back to 30 minutes so it doesn't completely mess with me. All right, so I kind of like where this one is at right now. It's about 10:17 right now, so let's drop it down to a 5 minute. And it is interesting. We're stabilizing. So this 69.50 is actually that would be a call spread. That would be all right. So there would be a call spread sitting right there. Right now, the indicative value is 69.45. So it's basically $5 inside or 5 cents inside of the knockout. But we are at the extreme range of that one. The risk on this one is about 46, so it is a little bit on the higher side. But again, uh, it's nice that it's rallied back up into that level. Let's see what we have on the shorter duration side here. Wow, 69.25 is the closest on that. Um, 69 flat. Jesus, the 2 hours are not even close. 69.25. Yeah, those aren't going to work. All right, let's go down and look at commodities, oil. Whoops. 69.75, which should be up here. It's got about $34 risk. Actually, the knockout has less risk than the actual daily call spread, so it would be better with the knockout. The knockout would be sitting 69.75. And this one has 33 risk. Label color purple. There we go. Line color. Purple. There we go. All right. So there's a knockout coming from that era. So it's kind of within range. You know, not too bad. Actually, the risk is going up a little bit because it pushed down. For a sell. We'll see if this one able. Well, We'll come back to this one in about 5 minutes. Let's cover gold. Gold doesn't need to go that low. Yeah, so gold, obviously wiki. We mentioned yesterday the 1795. As you guys can see, at 8:30 this morning, it pounded off of it, and now it's up what $10 already since the open. We've had these two levels on here for quite a while. Again, it's hit. We knew buyers were there, and again, same thing. So if any of our gold traders out there, you owe me $10 per contract. No, just kidding. Now the question is, can we blow through here? Because this was a previously violated zone. We had levels here. We had this here. We were basing it again. We finally broke through, and now we're pulling back up in that same level. We'll see if we can get this one to move. If anything, I think the trade for this one has been pretty much out for the morning. Um, like I said, I don't know. Let's see. Did that actually make its 1 to 3? It was pretty close. 1 to 3 is right there. Look at that. All right. So yeah, right to the 1 to 3 area. So Yeah, so that one did well. I'd watch it, but the next time it hits that level, be cautious. If we get any type of basing, look for a break below that. Um, Kind of crazy that we're talking about gold going below 1790 at this point with everything that we're seeing. So, um, yeah, I mean, I would say if it does break, there is a potential short on this one. Again, there's buyers down in this area, right? We can see the guys down here, but again, that's 1790, right? I mean, it's only $5 drop, but we got to watch some of the movement there. So, trying to think right now, is there anything else? I mean, there's a up on this time frame, you can see that we do have kind of a level here. That maybe that's another place that we can get short from. Let's put a price label there. Keep that one on our radar for later in the week. Hmm. Yeah, like I said, based off of where we are right now, we've already dealt with the opening trade. I probably wouldn't do much more with gold today. Maybe if we hit it again and you see like a little bit of a bounce, like a decent bottom. But right now, by the way, it keeps probing in there. It's trying to grab as many buyers as it can. I'd be looking for it to roll, and again, we know it's supported, so just be cautious with this one. But like I said, there was your trade from this morning. Hopefully, somebody was able to take advantage of that one. Silver, same thing, 24.83. There's your level. It ended up pushing higher. This was a one test here, the 25.33. We'll see if we can get up that far. Um, there's a knockout sitting there that didn't do much. Let's pull this across. I always hit the trash can. I'm like, wait, do I do this? Pull both these levels, although I think that this level is going to be smoked the next time. I think this 24.83 will have a couple of different issues. So anyway, 25.15 is or 25.17 is where we're at. Once we get inflation, obviously this one will start to move as well. I don't think it'll move as much as gold. It's at 1% right now, where gold is down, 0.35. I would say that where this one is right now, look at this. High, lower high, lower low, and a push down, and it's trying to fight all those sellers in there. And if it does finally break through, it's got to deal with these guys up top again. So, it would not surprise me if this thing comes up and touches and then pushes its way back down in the overnight. So not too much there. Um, all right, let's go back over to oil and see if oil is stabilizing. Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, so oil's still stabilizing there. Actually, the risk on this one is now 31. And again, the way that it's set up, I would say that it on a technical basis, assuming that we know nothing about the oil inventory report, it does look like it is more set up for a short position. So, um, and it's not honestly on the one minute, it's not the ideal setup, but you see how it pushed and then came up again and then stabilized and then pushed and kind of stabilized again. Um, Not necessarily bad. Let me see if there's any binaries in there that would be decent for this one. Crude oil. Let's look at a 10 to 12 and see what we can get. The indicative value is at 69.50, which is kind of like in between two. It looks like you could do for about $20 risk. You'd have a 68.85, which is over in here. Let me see. Let me mark this one off. 60. What did I say? 68.85. 68.85. Let me look at the dailies. 68.80 has about $25 worth of risk. That would be end of day, which would be here. Can I put notes? No, I wish I could do notes on all these. So there's one there. I'm gonna change this background to something that I'm like, hey, what is that? And then this one would be the 12 o'clock at 85. Let's see what else we got. I'm not interested in the weeklies. 9 to 11. 29.54. This one would need like a. This one only has 33 minutes left in it. This one would be an 11, which would be, what did I say, 60, 69.94. I'm sorry, 68.94. 68.94. Should be right here at 11. 68.94. Yeah, that one, this doesn't make sense when you get the extra time value there. So, all right, so let's see. Look at that. Oil is already starting to. It's starting to push down. It's starting to mess our analysis up. Look at that. It just drove right down. It's like, really? It's like you were holding so good. We'll see what we got here. All right. People are like, wait a second. What was that other number? All right. So while that's going on, I'll just give you guys a quick reminder. Get all your positions in. Sean won yesterday, so everybody is going for 50. Oh, people are messaging me. Mm, mm, mm. All right. Yeah, Sean won yesterday. So Sean's going for 100 today. Everybody else is going for 50 in here. So we'll see how that follows out. Who do we got in doubles? Ernest is in for doubles. Sean's in for 3. Nura's in for 2. Will was like, yeah, I don't win for another 6 months. Ecky's in there. Where's Ross? I feel like Ross needs to come in here today, and Wealth Builder needs to come in. Wealth Builder hasn't been here for a little while. I'm gonna have to get on that guy. All right. Look, it's already starting to push. It's already starting to go down. It's like, hey, we're gonna jump this one ahead of time. And again, I hate this when your movement all happens 2 minutes beforehand. I like the stabilization up top, but yeah, go 1 minute chart. Go 20-cent drop in 2 minutes. This is the way I hate when this happens. It's like, come on, you're just hold there for till the release and then go. It's like if it's already starting to move ahead of time, it's like, yeah, they're gonna start playing some tricks in here. Playing some tricks. Now let me go back to that knockout. Crude oil. Yeah, that crude oil one has already moved $10. All right, let's see. We've got 1 minute to go here. Do they have event binaries on this one? I don't think so. Not that I trade the events. No, just jobless claims tomorrow. I was like, that'd be interesting. I feel like they should. I feel like maybe I'll tell them like, hey, you guys should have event binaries for oil. It's such a, it's every week. It's easy to do. You know, it's not like the professional forecast is ever correct. I bet you I could sell them on it. All right, let's see what it is here. Man, we better not get a delay again. Wouldn't that be? That would be horrible again. If we get that delay like last week, where it was like 11. No, 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 we're just kidding. We'll do it at 11:30. Down to 69.20. Down to 69.17. There you go. Look at that. A positive 2.1. So the positive 800,000 was not even enough in this. So yeah, this is showing a big surplus on this one. So yeah, so price is moving, right? Price is already starting to move. There you go. That's 68.94. Let's check the binary on this one. Crude oil. That was the one that ends at 11. The 68.94. Look at that. It's already spiking down. Where's it? 68.94. Yeah, let's see what it does now. See if it runs out, if it's got enough space here. All right. Let's see. Where is it? That one was only like, let's see. 68.94. That was a small risk one. I should have put the other labels on there. Anyway, we'll see. It's got 28 more minutes to go. If it literally gets to that line, right? Again, kind of makes sense there. If it tags that line, it was a $20 risk trade, $22 risk trade. You can take yourself out at 2.5 times what it is. They're going to make you wait for the actual another 20 minutes. I know, right? It drives me nuts when it does that. But if it touches that line, again, there's your 2 to 1. Again, same thing down here. This one was, I think this was the one that was 25. This was $20 risk as well. So again, either of those two, you are good for the day. Like now it's spiking up because everybody's like, "Holy crap, short, short!" Everybody's trying to short it right now. They see this and like, "Oh my god, short!" So there's so much easy money. They're just taking money left and right now from people because they're all hitting short and then bouncing it higher. So, all right, let's go ahead and do the drawing. All right, I'm going to close the drawing down now. Let's see who today's winner is. Remember, Sean goes for 100. Everybody else is going for 50. Winner of today's drawing is Eke. What's up, man? Eke, you've been doing pretty well here. I feel like this is like I don't know. This is like your like I think you've won at least one day a week for the last 3 weeks, right? Right? I feel like I mean, does anybody else feel that? I mean, I feel like he's won at least once a week now for the last 3 weeks. Like he's like, wow, I did it again. Look at this pound number. I really feel like that's true. I really feel like you've won at least once a week for the last 3 weeks because I keep talking about you, right? I feel like yeah, I feel like the fangs of negative vibes are going to be pointing in your direction rather soon. I feel like people are going to be like, huh, right? No Eki, no Eki. We haven't seen it yet. Eki is joining the ladies. Exactly. You know what? I feel like that is true. Like, I feel like, I don't know. The girls go in streaks, right? Marina won recently. Debbie won last week, I think. Um, yeah. So, yeah. It's all good. All right, guys. With that said, I am out of here. I will catch you guys later. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same time, same place. And I started actually working on the slide deck. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. So I don't know if I like the title, but I mean, here is the working title that I guess Todd put up right now. Um, this one right here. So it's mostly going to be on fibs, right? And you guys know I don't use support and resistance, but he really wanted me to put support and resistance in there. But it's going to basically be on all fibs. So if you guys are looking for some, other fib strategies as well, I will go ahead and put those out there. This will be, I think this is August 10th. Yeah, August 10th at 11 a.m. And I don't even know who else is on there. Um, equity indexes with Todd, binaries with Dan, mine, knockouts, and then what is a bubble market? Dan. I don't actually know Daniel. I've never talked to Daniel. Are we in a market bubble? We'll see. So yeah, seems basic, but it is what it is. All right, guys. With that said, I am out of here. Look at that. First surplus in weeks. Look at that. Look at that. Been since May since we've had a red number. And it's since May 19th, it's the first. Actually, I guess that's not true. These two were slightly positive in April. But look at that. We've been on such a -5, -5, -7, -7, -6, -6, -7, almost 8. And then all of a sudden, bam, 2 million. So, all right, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys later. You guys have a good one. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll catch you guys later.